A little bit, really, really what I want to give you is a features overview of the whole thing and talk in terms of three elements. How is it going to save you time? How is it going to help you increase your revenue? And how is it going to help you in optimizing your business? Those are really important pieces. When we're talking about a CRM, that's really what I want to do. And when we were putting the CRM together, we spent a lot of time actually getting in sessions with our realtors and talking with them about what they're looking for in a CRM solution, what kind of features are really must-haves. And we really feel we've put together a very strong offering to help you do these three exact things. Of course, at the same time, people want to know, how do I access the CRM and what options do I have? So we'll talk a little bit about that near the end as well. So what is LePage CRM? Well, LePage CRM, just to let you know, is developed by Property Base and built on Salesforce.com. Salesforce.com is the world's leading CRM software out there, and it's incredibly robust, but it's not really designed for real estate. So Property Base is a company that took that CRM software and customized it for real estate. We then discussed with Property Base and further developed the CRM specific to our network. So when we looked at Property Base, we realized it was missing some components that we needed in the Canadian real estate market. It had certain aspects that were built too robust, so certain pieces that would require you to do double, triple entry. And we said, no, our realtors don't want to do that based on our knowledge of your systems and what you have. Allowed us to kind of slim it down and make a really nice, sharp offering for you guys. The neat thing about it is that you essentially, as a LePage CRM user, you have a license to all three. So you could go to propertybase.com and you could log in there. You could go to salesforce.com and you could log in there. And that's really cool because Salesforce.com, being the world's leading CRM, is very, very keen when it comes to security. You can imagine they have multinational corporations on their CRM platform. So for them, security is paramount. All the data is obviously backed up. It's in the cloud, so that means it's accessible anywhere. And also, one of the neat things that I like to show people when I'm hitting the road and showing people the CRM is when you log in from a different location, it actually says, wait a minute, you've never been here before, so I need to double check. And it'll send you a verification code. And that's really nice because that means that even if somebody were to somehow get your username and password, they still wouldn't be able to log in without that emailed verification code. So it's one more level of security in there. So in the CRM itself, we're going to start off with, as I mentioned, saving you time. And that all starts with the task and event section right off the bat. On the home page, this is what we show you. And this really comes from when we spoke to our realtors, they said, you know what, we want to know, what do I need to do today? What do I need to get done? So right off the bat, you'll see the task and event calendar. And of course, these are tracked with your contacts. The contacts themselves is the other component of the CRM. The really key component. This is what I want to be tracking. So I want to obviously know what's going on with my contacts. I want to maintain a record of their details. I want to be able to rank and segment them. I want to add family details and information as well so I can see that at a glance. I want to track the emails, phone calls, meetings that I have with them, documents I have with them, listings that they may be interested in, or maybe they've purchased, or maybe they're proprietors. HTML email open rates, of course. Also, if I send them an email from the system, I want to know if they've opened it. We'll talk about all of these as well. At the same time, one of the neat things in terms of coming from Salesforce is we also have social media integration. So you can connect your contacts with their social media profiles, which means that in a few clicks, you can see what's going on with their Facebook, what's going on with their Twitter. So before you make a call, hey, you want to have a look in there. Of course, at the same time, if you're using Facebook and Twitter as part of your business in terms of getting new leads, there's also a way to integrate that into LePage CRM and pull those people into the as new contacts and those kind of things right into LePage CRM. I won't show you that today, but I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew it existed. Right now I'm talking social media integration with the contact. And of course also referral tracking. Now we're going to get into that, but let's log into the CRM itself. So here I am on the CRM's home screen. Now as I mentioned, you could log in directly from salesforce.com. You could also go through, of course, the RLP network. So I'm here on my home screen, and you'll notice the first thing I have is the quick start buttons. So these buttons are here to make your life really easy. If you have a new contact, if you're adding tasks, if you're looking for help and resources, how to use the system, these quick start buttons are here for you. But right underneath that, I have my tasks, what's going on today, and my calendar. So I can see everything, what I need to do today. Now, one of these tasks you'll notice, I've obviously set it up for this session, is I have this task due today. I have a few that are overdue. Maybe I should get on them. But I have this task today to do a quick catch-up with Kelly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to her contact. Now, there's a lot of ways I could go to her contact, but the easiest right now is I'm just going to click on her name here. Of course, you'll notice there is the Contacts tab. I could also do a search near the top, just to let you know there's a lot of ways I can get to a contact. So I've pulled up Kelly McCain, and first things first, as I mentioned on the contact page, I'm tracking a lot of information here. I can see she's one of my past clients. I'm ranking her as being an A+. You know, her estimated next move, so I asked her in a previous conversation, I said, you know, when do you think you're going to be moving next? And she said probably in, crazily, a couple years, 2016. Down below I see her family details, so you know if I've tracked her spouse partner information, and of course I see she has a daughter as well, her title, her company, all that information here. But before I make that phone call to her, I'm going to check out, let's see, her Twitter account. And I see, oh, okay, you know what? Oh, that's a little bit old, so I guess she's not using Twitter too much. Let's pop over to Facebook here, and I'm going to click on View Full Profile and see what's going on. So it looks like she's getting into a snowball fight on Facebook. And looks like some people were having fun. Of course, knowing she has a daughter means that I know that this is something that, obviously, that's her daughter. So this is going to give me a little bit of information before I give Kelly that call, and so that way, you know, I'm not calling and just getting down to business. You know, I'm getting a chance to talk a little bit. Hey, you know, I noticed on your Facebook, it looks like somebody's sending you a snowball. What's going on? How come you haven't pinged me on that one? So that might be something that that comes up. And of course, as I go down on the contact page, I'm going to see that phone text catch up with Kelly under my open activities. And now that I've you know, I've called through to her, I'm just going to hit close on that. It's going to be marked as completed. And I'm just going to save that activity. So that's essentially my phone call to Kelly. I've now closed that off. That task is completed. Now it comes into my activity history down below. And these tabs are really, these are all the actions. These are the listings, the notes, all the activities, everything that's going on in the contact, all here, all on one page, which is pretty cool. I mean, it means if, let's say, Kelly calls in out of the blue, I don't have to be clicking through tabs to see different information. I see it all here, all in one spot. Now this leads to the next section. While I was on the phone with Kelly, she mentioned to me that, oh, you know what? And, you know, I asked her the very pertinent question of all your friends and family, who do you think would be the next person to move? And she mentioned, oh, you know what? I actually have a friend who's considering a move. So obviously I want to track this referral in my system because I want to make sure that, you know, at the end of the day, if something happens, I can note that, hey, Kelly's the one who sent me on this referral. And when I'm reassessing my clients at the end of the day, I mean, it's December, it's coming up, and I'm going, you know, where do my clients fit? Who are my A+s? Who are my Bs? This is going to be a big piece of information. So I'm going to go back to Kelly's page in the CRM, and at the bottom, I'm going to click on New Contact. And as I'm speaking with Kelly, I'm going to say, hey, you know, give me a little bit of information. So she'll say, oh, the name's Tim Smith, and his email is tim@rlp.ca. He'd give me a phone number maybe, 555-5555. While I'm typing that in, you might have noticed down below, it's showing me a list of potential duplicates. So if this is somebody I already have in my system, I might go, oh, you know what? I met Tim. Didn't we meet? And then I might pull up Tim and go, oh, I remember we met him. My lead source, of course, is important. It's a referral from my sphere of influence, and I'm going to click on Save. Now, what you'll notice with this is that automatically this referred by section has been filled out. So it's saying this lead was referred by Kelly. So that means activity that's going on with them can be tracked back to her, which is a fantastic thing, and I'll show you how we look at that later on. So now I'm on the phone with Tim, and or maybe, you know, sending emails back and forth, and we're talking about, you know, yeah, you're interested in buying. Let's get talking about that. And that's where the agreements objects can come into play. So with Tim, I've now said, hey, you know what, sounds good, sounds like we're ready to go. We're going to sign a representation agreement. So I'm going to go down on Tim's page, and I'm going to click on New Agreement. And this is, I think, one of the nicest pieces of Royal LePage CRM. Knowing the way you guys have access to other systems, we found that our agreement object needs to be something very, very slim and easy. Just the bare essential of information. I don't want to have to double enter anything. I just want to be able to kind of capture that I have a buyer representation agreement with Tim. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to select buyer. The start date's today. We're going to pick an end date. Let's go February 5th. And this is a really cool feature too here. Send reminder prior to expiry. So right now I'm saying, you know what, 14 days before expiry, send me an email reminding me that that my buyer representation agreement is about to expire. Maybe, I mean, less so with buyers, but you know, it's certainly when we're talking about listings, that can be a really big one. And of course, if I had some notes, I could add some notes in there as well. So I'm going to hit save on this. And now Tim Smith is one of my active buyers. Now as we go through, we might start seeing listings that we like. So I'm going to go down here to my open activities and click on new showing. And let's say we had a look at 39 Winford Drive. I could add more information and description. I can also, of course, track, you know, we had a look at it. 5, it's a nice office building. We'll put in an offer. So we'll put in an offer. I need to type these things out in advance. So Tim's going, you know what? I think that's the place. I think I'm interested. So I'm going to go here and say that you know what, he's ranking it as a 5. At this point, he's saying he's going to put in an offer. So I'm not just going to click on save on this show. I'm actually going to go and set a new task, and we're going to call this for the task a meeting with Tim, or maybe actually here. Let's go back here to this pick list, and I'm going to go CMA. And my due date, I'm going to set it as tomorrow. And I'm going to set that to be 39 Winford. So it's really cool in terms of, again, as you go through the process of completing tasks, you can really easily schedule new tasks. So based on the fact that, you know, when Tim and I looked at this place, he said, yeah, I'm ready to make an offer. I said, okay, I'm going to do a quick CMA on 39 Winford, and that way we can come in at a really nice competitive offer. Now, one thing to note on this also is that everything in Salesforce can be linked to 2 objects, not just one, and that's really nice because I'm going to link this to the agreement I have with Tim as well. And that's going to be the last one actually up here. So we're just going to do that. I'm going to link it to his agreement, and I'm going to hit save. So now, let's go back to Tim's contact page, and let's see what's changed. So of course, the top hasn't changed too much, but as I scroll down, we're going to start seeing some things different. Notice this box down here. So I can see that I had a showing with him, I can see the summary of it, and I can see that he's given this showing 5 stars. I can then see also my open task. So I have a task that's related to that, to the agreement, to say do a CMA on 39 Winford. So I have that task scheduled for tomorrow. And of course, if I were to go back to my home page, I would see that task as one of my tasks due tomorrow. Now up top, I have the agreement object still open, still waiting, still saying that, you know, Tim is an active buyer. So that's there as well. Now, as I mentioned with this agreement object, the other side is we want to know what's closing. So you'll see here I have % of agreements that have closed. So let's go through this, and let's say, you know, we've put in an offer, we went back and forth, we've settled on a price. So I'm going to pull up this agreement object, and I'm going to do a quick edit on it. And yeah, we've got a closing date, 39 Winford Drive. If I want, you know, I can track the list price, sales price, all of that stuff. But at the end of the day, I just want to know what's my take home. And my take home in this case is going to be $1,000. Making the big bucks. So we tried actually once with when I was doing a session, we put in $10 billion and it said the number was too big. So just know that don't try to earn $10 billion because it's just not going to happen. Or I guess if you do, send me an email and we'll figure out how to make that field bigger for you. Now, one thing you might notice on this agreement, so now I have that closing date. I got the listing address in there, so I'm kind of keeping track of that. I could also attach a file. So if I want to attach some documents here, I could attach them to the file. I could either attach to the agreement or the contact as well. So keep that in mind, is that you can actually do that stuff as well, and you can attach files and those kind of things to it. So that really comes to the whole term of the agreements, the action plan, how I track my referrals, how I can create people. And there's a lot of different ways to do things. I'm showing you one way. Obviously, there's a lot of different ways you can do this. I could create a contact and then go back and say, oh, you know what, it was referred by this person. So keep that in mind. Now let's talk about increasing your revenue further. So when we talk about that, well, what are we talking about? Well, first we have our Royal LePage action plans. And these are really designed to help you seed, repeat, and referral business. So these action plans come to us from Royal LePage Real Estate Services Limited. They were shared with us and have been in use for years. They've honed them and made them into something that really they share with their network, and they've allowed us to share this on to our CRM users. These action plans are really easy to apply. So let's go back to our CRM. I'm going to pull up Tim Smith, and I'm going to create an action plan with him. Because at this point now, he's a past client. We got to, you know, he's moved on from being an active to a past client. So I'm going to do a quick search for a past client. So let's do this, past client B perpetual. So he's a B client. And all this is saying, okay, we got to adjust them to the appropriate marketing list. So I, of course, have some marketing lists, you know, people I send calendars to and those kind of things. I want to make sure that he's on the appropriate marketing lists. And it's really going to set a series of tasks for me. So 120 days from now, set up a conversation with Tim. 240 days, set up a face-to-face. Near the end of the year, a conversation. And then in 360 days, so about this time next year, I want to assess his motivation and I want to rank him. Is he still a B? Maybe he's moved up. Maybe he's become an A+. So I'm going to hit save on this. And as simple as that, it's now created. And I'm going to go back to Tim. Let's go through contacts here and pull up Tim. It's created, scroll down to my open activities, these activities for him as a contact. And of course, these are going to show up in my to-do list. As they come up, as I complete them, they move into my activity history. So really nice and simple. Now, what about action plans that you have? Maybe you have your own things that you do. So you can create your own action plan templates from scratch. You can take our action plans and clone them and build them yourself and you know, make your own pieces to them. So keep that in mind. There's a lot of flexibility in those action plans. You know, if you have an action plan for when you have a new listing, and we don't have one of those because, you know, that might be really specific to your board and how you have to proceed. So you could create your own action plan for that and set that up. Really nice and simple. The other side in terms of increasing revenues, we have scripts as well for you. Now we have some scripts in terms of online leads, and that's something that you know, our Royal LePage Learning Services team was out on the road doing training, talking about connecting, communicating, and converting with leads, and they really touched a lot upon online leads and how to get through to them. Now the neat thing in this is, of course, you can build your own scripts as well, and I really encourage people to do that. When it comes to certain activities, you know, build a script, because then we can review that script, we can customize it, we can tweak it, we can change it and make it more powerful. You know, if you find that something isn't working, maybe it's not getting an open or not getting a response, change some of the wording and see if that makes a difference. And that's really one of the nice things. So you can create your own email templates. They're tracked, so whether or not they're open, that's immediate. They're logged. And of course, there's mail merge fields as well. So as you notice here, I have dear contact first name, so it's going to fill all that information in for me. Now, of course, the other side in this is, and I didn't really touch on it while I was talking about the listing and agreements, but you know, I don't want to lose information about listings. So is there a quick way for me to pull the information into the CRM itself? And that's where we actually have an MLS browser built in. what this allows you to do is search any listing that's connected to royallepage.ca. So what do I mean by that? Some people go, is that not just Royal LePage listings? Well, no, these days we actually have competitor listings on our website as well. And that means that any of those listings can be pulled into the CRM and put against contacts. So that way you can really quickly capture all the information about a listing and keep it in the CRM without having to build it yourself, which is really nice. Of course, somebody was asking me yesterday, what if I just want to create a PDF and attach it to the contact? You can do that as well. So as I mentioned, not all listings will be found in here because we don't have all the listings on royallepage.ca. If it's not, no problem. Just save a PDF copy of it and attach it to the contact or attach it to the agreement object. Really nice and simple. Now, the other thing also is that it is tied to royallepage.ca. So what's cool with that is that right now on royallepage.ca we have a Contact This Agent button on all of our listings. If somebody fills that out, what happens? Well, what really happens is when somebody hits that Contact This Agent, they fill out a form, it gets sent over to Property Base. Now, when it hits Property Base in the Royal LePage CRM, it's going to look and say, hey, does this person exist? Do they have an account? If so, it creates the contact, creates the property lead, creates all that information, and sends you an email. If you're not a Royal LePage CRM user, hey, no problem. It just goes, nope, not a user, and sends out an email. So what's neat with that is that if you're getting a request off royallepage.ca, that person will already exist in your CRM when you log in. So that way you can just track it. And again, use those email templates to start getting in touch with them, which is fantastic. Now what about your business? What about doing some business intelligence? Well, that's where our dashboards and reports really come into play. So let me pull up those. Now we did some activities already today that we should start seeing in our dashboards. So firstly, I'm going to refresh this dashboard here. I have my agreements dashboard. Now that ties into, of course, the last dashboard we looked at. Here's a nice visual representation of what's going on with my agreements. So I can see at this point right now I have 3 buyer agreements that are open, 2 listing agreements. I can always click these and go to the full report where I see a lot more information. I can see that I have that $1,000 on the 20th of December that's expected to come in. So this is my upcoming revenue that's expected to come in. And then I can see everything that's happened in the past. So what's gone on in the past, what income have I earned in the past year. Now here, this percent here is telling me that right now I'm closing about 45% of my agreements. So that means that a little bit, it's taking me 2 agreements to close 1. So maybe, with Tim it took, for him it only took 1, but maybe for some listings, let's say, you might have 3 or 4 agreements before it ends up closing. So that's a really nice number. At the end of the year when I want to know, how I'm doing, I might say, hey, my goal for the next year is to reduce the number of agreements. I want to be able to do this in only 2. Now what about those referrals? So it's the end of the year, I'm reassessing my clients. So you're going to notice here my referral and contact dashboard. And this is going to show me 3 things. Firstly, who's sending me referrals. Secondly, how much the referrals they're sending me are worth. And who's eating up my time in the last 3 months. So I can see right now Kelly's been taking up a lot of my time over the last 3 months. And that's a really good piece of information because, you know what, I might realize that, hey, right now Kelly's not really an active buyer. Why am I spending so much time with her? But maybe I'll notice in this that she's one of my top referrers. So I'm going to hit refresh on this, and we should see that number go up for Kelly. And we should see the total income for her go up as well. Now you got to give it a second, of course. It's doing a lot of calculations. You can imagine what's going on in the background. Again, to reinforce, I can always click through to the contacts and click through to the reports themselves. So here you go. You notice really nice and simple. Kelly McCain has sent me 4 referrals over the past 2 years. And of her referrals, thanks to her, I've earned an extra $5,000 in net income. So when it's coming time to sending her a Christmas card, I might say, you know what, I'll write an extra special note for her because she seems to be doing quite well in terms of business for me. Now, of course, I can also see my main dashboard, and this is going to give me one really nice piece of information, which is where is my source of contacts. And let's hit refresh on this. I can see a lot of them are coming from referrals past clients. I haven't filled this out completely because you can imagine I'm building in really. These are just contacts that I'm creating. So I haven't filled out full sources, but of course, for you, you would get a really nice report here that shows you all the information. And again, notice it always says click to go to the full report. So at the end of the year, when I'm assessing my business and looking at, where are my leads coming from? Are they coming from my website? Are they coming from referrals? What do I need to be focusing on over the next year? This chart right here is going to be critical to that. Now, we move to the next step. So now that I know a little bit about the CRM, you saw, I accessed it via browser, and I'll say any browser will work. It's Salesforce. It works on any browser. What about integrations? Well, we do have Salesforce for Outlook, which will allow you to sync the CRM with your Outlook account so that you can use that. Of course, if you're using another email client, we have Email to Salesforce, which will allow you to track emails directly in the CRM itself. So you can do that. And there is also some Microsoft Office integration as well. For instance, Excel, you can pull in the reports. The real question is, what about the mobile solutions? I'm on the road a lot. I want to be able to be doing this stuff anywhere and at any time. And that's where, again, being built on Salesforce is such a big piece, because they're constantly developing for mobile solutions. They know it's a big piece. So really, if you were to log into Royal LePage CRM on let's say, an iPad, you would get automatically a different layout. So it would just go, oh, you're on an iPad? I better show you a different layout so that it's more touch-friendly. But let's take a live example of this, and let's pull this up. So I'm going to pull up TeamViewer, and let's talk about what this actually looks like. Give me one moment. I'll just connect to my device, and I'm going to remote control it. Let's see if it works. Try it again. Here we go. You gotta let it connect first. I think it was hitting buttons a little bit too quickly. Let's see, maybe it will not connect today. Uh-oh. All right. I'm too impatient for it. Well, that's okay, because we can talk about it in a moment. What I really suggest you do is, while you're on the trial of the CRM, is install Salesforce One. It's a free app for iOS and Android, and try it out. Really, to be honest, I can show it to you. That would have been nice, but at the end of the day, there's going to be nothing like trying it yourself. And I think you'll see that it's a really, really slick app that really makes accessing your database anywhere at any time totally, the best solution. That's something that, of course, I was talking with somebody yesterday about, and they're going, what happens if somebody changes their phone number? So I said, it's simple. Log into Salesforce One, change your phone number immediately. And within moments, because Royal LePage CRM is cloud-based, it'll be updated in your database. So if somebody's back at the office and they're about to call this person and you update their phone number, immediately that phone number will be changed in the database itself. Sorry, I couldn't show you guys that. That's sad. Now, what about product development? One of the neatest parts about Royal LePage CRM is that, given that this is a Royal LePage product, your feedback directly inputs the CRM itself. So what that means is that, I'll tell you, when we launched on September 10th, the referral section didn't exist, and somebody said, hey, I want to be able to track my referrals. So of course, we said, okay, we started putting in those fields. And that's one of the really nice parts about the CRM as well, in terms of, we're really helping you push towards the best practices out there as well. Now, one of our planned updates is we're looking right now, and we're in discussions with Imprev and Property Base to get some sync between the Marketing Center and Royal LePage CRM. So that's what's coming down the pipeline right now. So a quick review, and I'll get to some of the questions in a moment here. But again, the CRM really, in terms of saving you time, as you see, really quick and simple ways to get between contacts and agreements and all of that stuff. It's really built to help you increase your revenue and track it to optimize your business. I mean, that's one of the biggest things. At the end of the year, I want to do an assessment of my business. Sadly, I couldn't show you the mobile side of things. Like I said, the best thing to do is on your trial, give it a shot. Create the, install the app and play with it for yourself and see how it works. I think you'll see it's like I said, a really nice and slick app. So what is our offer? So essentially, our offer is this: Royal LePage CRM is available. It's an annual license. So for agents, brokers, managers, $420 per year plus applicable taxes, comes out to about $35 a month. For assistants, now we know in many cases that it's going to be the realtor who's paying for the assistant license. So in that case, we said, you know what, let's give the realtor a break. If they want to have 2 licenses, one for them, one for their assistant, then you know what, let's at least give them a little bit of a price break on that. Now, is that required? Of course, we have people who are on the CRM who are, sharing their access with their assistant. It's one license. They're doing that kind of thing, and they don't have any problems with that. So that's up to you and your comfort level. What I'm offering everybody here is essentially, I'll be honest with you, you're set up and ready to go. So you can leave this session right now. I'd prefer it if you didn't, but if you left right now and went to rlpnetwork.com, clicked on Realtors and CRM Software, I'll show you where that is real easily, Realtors, CRM Software, you will notice a CRM login button. You can log in right now and try it out. And I'm giving you everybody here the next 2 weeks to go log in and try it out. It's full access, so if you want to use some of the mobile solutions, hey, go ahead and try them out. At the same time, I understand that some of you, well, it's December, things are starting to slow down, so hopefully you have some time. Some of you may be a little bit busy, however. If you do wish to postpone, just send me an email. My email and phone number are right there on this page. Feel free to get in touch with me. We're also going to be sending you information throughout the 2-week trial, kind of essentially dripping you some information on how to use the CRM. So don't feel like you need to understand it right away. Maybe today you log in and go play around a little bit with it, see what it's all about, see how you look at contacts, look at all the different pieces. And then over the next week, we're going to be sending you information on how you connect it to mobile, how do you create action plans. So we'll be sending that information out to you, so wait for that. And then we essentially give you an extra week to go and explore those options. And now that you know a little bit more, let's go in there and play around with it. Oops, I opened the wrong window. There we go. So